Hi, and welcome back to the channel. Come closer, class is in session. Now, why would you follow someone that you hate or you don't like? Let's just start there, right? Hate following is actually real. A lot of our influences are followed but still hated by a large group of people online. So, today we're going to talk about that and unpack that. So, I'm very confused, guys. I don't know if I can continue using the word hate. So, I'm thinking let me just rather use the word dislike, right? Because now, if I continue using the word, I think I'll have a few problems. YouTube is getting strict. There's a lot of guidelines and rules, so I can't just run my mouth. With that said, going on someone's account and disliking them, going on someone's comment section and disliking them like that and showing them you don't like them is very wild to me. It's actually weird. I mean, you do have options, right? You can scroll, you can block, or you can unfollow if it's that deep, right? And you get to see how people dislike certain influences on platforms like TikTok and X. And to be honest with you, TikTok is very toxic. And I have closed my comment section simply because I will not allow anyone to come on my platform and come play a game with me. I'm not going to go back and forth with you. I really don't. And I'm not a stupid. Don't think because I'm quiet I can't clap back. Trust me, I can. I can and I will if I have to. But for now, I'm thinking, no, man, I'm not going to argue with strangers online, right? And then on X, I don't know what's happening on that platform, but the level of dislike, right, that influencers get on that app is scary. Women are degraded, influencers are degraded, men are just talking anyhow on women influences and gay people. Is actually very confusing. And it's like, if you want to see how men think, I'm sorry if there are men following me, I'm not generalizing, certain men, right? Go on that platform, you get to see how men think. It's really actually disturbing, right? Now, hate following is based on the following points I'm going to talk about, right? The first is men, right? And then projection, jealousy, and just gossip and being nosy. Now I'm going to start with men. A lot of men tend to hate on influencers simply because they can't have them. They can't have them like that. And influencers have high expectations and standards with regards to life, careers, and what they expect from men. So men tend to just have this hatred and dislike towards influencers, right? Because let's be honest, influencers are super sexy. They have their shit together. They do live good lives, and certain men are threatened by this. I mean, Sally, even in an interview, said that most of the time, her online bullying comes from men. And I was like, why? She was like, no, because like I'm not your typical girl, right? I don't follow society norms and expectations. I don't follow traditional ideologies, especially as a black South African woman. I do what I want. I travel abroad, I'm living a certain way, and a lot of men are not comfortable with that. If they can't control you or understand you, they're going to obviously show it in these weird behavior. I mean, if you go on X as we speak right now, Lerato underscore M, the way they're speaking about her, and I'm like, but this girl does not bother anyone. So why are you guys so comfortable talking about these things? And they're literally running with different narratives. Apparently, allegedly, I do not know, she's pregnant. And I'm like, you know and they're just going on and on and on, and you can tell that it's a whole lot of men who are just angry and bitter that they can't have these girls, or these girls are setting certain standards in society. And then the second point I'm going to talk about is jealousy. Now, a lot of influencers live unique lives, right? They don't follow the rules, they break the rules, and they do their own thing. And the public tends to get uncomfortable. They get irritated, they get jealous, and they start questioning certain things and looking into certain things to say that, but we've always lived like this. Why is Grace living like this? Do you get what I'm saying? So it's a thing of jealousy. Just because Grace has a certain car, now that you can't get it, you're gonna talk about it, right? Just because Lerato got married to a white man and you're not married, now you're gonna say her entire success comes from this man. Just because Toli started a business, now just because you don't see her at a 9 to 5, you're gonna start a whole story. So it's just like jealousy, right? And then the next point I'm going to talk about is projection. Now, we like to project on our influences. I'm not going to lie. I'm included. We project certain things onto them. Oh, she is this type of person. She is this. She lives like this. She thinks like this. And it can be dangerous. Guys, you need to understand there's a difference between opinion, there's a difference between hate, and there's a difference between being stupid, right? I mean, when you talk about people, you need to understand that at the end of the day, these people have lives. They come from families. I can't just come here and start running my mouth, you know? Even if I talk about certain things, trust and believe I'm not creating these stories. It's something that I saw online that I'm just maybe speaking on. So my projection tends to come from things that I see online, not necessarily things that I just created out of my head. And then and the last point I'm going to talk about is being nosy or just being a gossip, you know? Now, there's nothing wrong with having an opinion, like I said. But then it starts to get tricky when you are a serial gossiper. And guys, there's a difference between commentary, gossip, and just the serial gossiper, right? Because you start making up stories, right? I can't come and sit here and say Lerato is pregnant when I don't have my fix and no one said anything about that. That is dangerous. That is why I'm a bit concerned with this Lerato underscore M, whereby they're saying she's pregnant. I really don't understand what's going on. Where did they get that? Based on what? Why would you start running with that and just spreading that online, right? And remember, with gossip, you are spreading misinformation, you are spreading lies, and you are spreading things that can harm people or put people's lives in danger. Why would you start a rumor of someone is pregnant? It does not make sense to me, right? Based on what? What did you see? What did you hear? Do you have evidence to say that this person is pregnant? So a lot of our influencers are hated because of how they live and who they are. And also, you need to understand, influencers are very unique, right? Influencers are very unique and their names hold a lot of weight. Why would I talk about Mihlali in the grand scheme of things, right? My life is showing me flames. So why would I stop and talk about Mihlali? Clearly her name has weight. So I'm not going to lie to you. A lot of people in society don't like our influencers. They follow our influencers to keep records on them, to see what they're doing, and they're just waiting for the downfall. And in most cases, our influencers have learned. I'm not going to lie to you. If you watch how influencers are moving right now, they're very guarded. They're very protected. They're very aware. I mean, Mihlali is extremely private. She doesn't post like she used to post. She doesn't say a lot of things, which is good, but it's kind of bad, right? Chloe also stopped saying a lot of things. She's also just guarded because she's tired of people just running their mouths about her. Like, it doesn't make sense. Every little element or part of my life is something exciting. It's a thought piece, it's a commentary. It's like, what the hell, right? Am I that important? And I'm gonna say to you guys, yes, you are. So that's if you're gonna become an influencer, you need to understand that people are going to talk about you, and it's going to get very uncomfortable at times, and it's very difficult. But I'm not going to lie to you guys, a lot of our influencers are not liked. They really disliked. I mean, there's a huge number of people who follow influencers but still don't like them. And it's very scary, right? But with platforms like X and TikTok, where people are now literally going to these girls' platforms and showing them they don't like them, that's a bit too much. If you don't like me, block me, unfollow me, or just scroll past. But if you're gonna start DMing me, telling me in my comment sections, that's getting really out of hand and that's weird. Tell me what you think about this. Which influencer do you think is the most hated influencer online in South Africa? And in my opinion, historically, it has to be definitely Koli and Mihlali. You guys know why. These girls lived and always used to have fun and said the things that they said in the early 20s, and a lot of people were not having it, right? And now recently, someone that is currently very hated online for no reason would definitely be Grace and Lerato underscore, no, Lerato Ngomalo and Lerato underscore M. And I'm like, but why do they hate these girls? It doesn't make sense. So tell me what you think about what I just said. Please don't forget to subscribe, like, comment, and share. I'll see you next time. Bye, guys.